What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Morgan Allena True Crime and Mystery. I want to bring up a little subject that I always found interesting, and it's in regards to Gypsy Rose Blanchard's police interrogation. She made an interesting little comment that always kind of intrigued me. Before we get into that, make sure you hit the like and share this video, and also make sure to hit the subscribe button. That way you can keep up with any of my videos that I put out. So yes, let's get into it. I've watched Gypsy Rose Blanchard's police interrogation video multiple times, just going over it, because things like that, there's always certain things that you can just pick up that's new every single time, pretty much, if you're just really paying attention. And there was one comment that always just struck me as odd, and it is when she brought up Jeffrey Dahmer. Do you remember that? If not, let's take a look at that real quick.
She said that there was something dangerous about him. She had a way of reading people.
Okay.
And she said that he seems like the head in a closet type of person, the kind that murders and kills, and
Your
like
mom's right.
Jeffrey Dahmer kind of person.
Take your mom.
So it's interesting that Gypsy Rose Blanchard would claim that her mom said Nick Godejohn is similar, or she compared him to Jeffrey Dahmer, a homosexual, cannibalistic type of serial killer. That's almost nearly completely the opposite of what he actually is. And if he was someone that's interested in her daughter, why would she compare Nick Godejohn to a homosexual serial killer? If he's clearly heterosexual, maybe she could have said like Ted Bundy or something, but why Jeffrey Dahmer? Is it possible that Gypsy Rose was actually the one that has been looking up, or had been looking up, serial killers prior to that instance? Was she looking it up in a way just to be curious about things, or was she looking for some sort of inspiration? Because, I mean, it really doesn't make sense for Deedee to compare him to an individual like that, even if she thought he was weird. And this obviously would come after they met at the movies, and apparently, allegedly, according to Gypsy, that Deedee got angry because Gypsy went to the bathroom and Nick went to the bathroom, and they obviously met up in the bathroom to have relations. And you know, funny how Gypsy added the whole portion about wearing a diaper in her new book and never mentioning that prior, but why would Deedee let Gypsy go to the bathroom if she was wearing a diaper? And if Deedee was so overwhelmingly overprotective of Gypsy, you know, just keeping her eyes locked on her at all times, why would she let her go to the bathroom when a man that she viewed as the equivalent of a Jeffrey Dahmer type, calling him weird and thinking he was a creep for being at a Disney Cinderella live-action movie, a grown man, according to Gypsy? Why would she let her young, vulnerable daughter get up and go be put in a position like that where she could be harmed? If Deedee was truly that overprotective, there'd be no reason for Gypsy to go to the bathroom. I don't see that situation happening. But I want to bring something up to you that is kind of interesting and might relate back to it. You ever looked at this image that shows part of Gypsy Rose Blanchard's search history on her computer? Obviously, there's not a lot of images that are like this, and I'm sure they probably have them, but I've never seen a whole lot of information. It's not included with the police file and stuff like that that I have copies of. So I don't know if you paid attention to Gypsy Rose in her earlier days after getting out of prison, and she was posting a lot on TikTok or whatever and going live often. She spoke about a moment where she was pronouncing things wrong. I believe it was on a live with Mia, and she had said that she thought the name of the makeup brand Morphe was pronounced Morph. And if you pay attention to how she says Jeffrey Dahmer in that video, she says Jeffrey Dahmer, almost as if she was trying to read it herself in a way and just assuming that was his name, but not really confident in what the name actually is. Is it possible it's because she read it herself and just didn't know how to pronounce his name correctly?
I thought it was Lacombe.
Lancome.
Great, everybody's gonna make fun of me for that.
Did you post that?
Or it's like that weave highlight.
You don't want Chunky.
I don't know what Chunky.
Chunky is old. Yours is Chunky. What was it that you said wrong? And it was a brand. Like, was it Morph? Morphe?
Yeah,
and you said Morph?
I said Morph, and then I learned that it was Morphe.
Yeah. You cut it yourself?
I cut it myself.
When? Like when you chopped it this
yeah,
short?
when I boxed out.
Oh my, she's gonna.
So I know what she's saying.
Chunky would be like blonde, like just fat chunks. This is like a chunk, but it's money pieces, so that's all. Go live and battle me.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Because, I mean, I would think that Deedee would probably know his name. He's a very, very well-known individual. But somebody like Gypsy that isn't probably too familiar is more than likely not going to know how to pronounce his name. Especially because obviously she struggles with reading, writing things, spelling, things like that. There's no logic for Deedee to compare Nick to such an individual when she allowed him to leave the theater and Gypsy to follow right after him. That doesn't make any sense. Obviously, I believe that Deedee very well knew about the whole situation and wasn't some crazy surprise like Gypsy wants to let on. I believe that she actually knew about Nick Godejohn because there's an article that said that Deedee knew about Nick Godejohn and that she loved that Gypsy was happy and in love. But besides that, I just don't really see any overprotective parent that sees a person that they deem a weirdo and a creep, especially in a position to be alone with a daughter. I don't see it. Obviously, her search history shows that she's watching filming cops or tase people in handcuffs or whatever it said. That's not normal. So who knows what else she was looking up? I bet she was looking for some inspiration for either one of her characters or as a way to suggest things to Nick. I almost wonder if that's where, within the discussion, Gypsy says when they were talking about various methods that they could use to be rid of Deedee's body, I wonder if that's where some of those suggestions come from, maybe like the hog farm or something. It may have come from Gypsy searching these serial killers. Because, I mean, Ruby, her alter ego, did say that she was a psychopath. So maybe Gypsy was just out and searching around the internet for someone to base her character off of. Or she just looked it up ahead of time to be able to prepare to say that about Nick just in case. Practicing and rehearsing her sad sob story where they're interviewing her and hailing her as a hero for surviving what she did. I have a very deep belief that that's what she planned on. This whole thing was to set up Nick Godejohn. That's why she mailed the knife and one bloody glove, but made sure to throw away one bloody glove directly into the trash can. Pretending to clean up blood, but then having these random big drips of blood in the kitchen, like on the bag of flour. That's weird for someone that was... She told Nick not to help with the cleaning because he probably wasn't going to do it right. She wanted to do it. Is it because she wanted to do it in order to make sure that there was just enough evidence left to catch him? And you know, she obviously had already said that she was gonna use the rest of the money in order to get Nick the very best attorney. She had zero thoughts or any idea that she was actually gonna be in trouble for this too. She was just planning on Nick going away and then getting to live with her dad. At least that's what I think. Because I mean, it's pretty clear by the way she flipped on him and just said, I think he can finally get the help that he needs. Right. But you loved him. He has a dark side. She set him up. She knew he was going to take the fall because she's very, very, very specific when she says he committed the act. Emphasis on the act. Don't look at what I did. Don't pay attention because he was the one that actually did it. And what's more important, the one that says to do it or the one that actually does it? But it's a mind game. And I mean, according to Nick Godejohn's appeals, he knew that Deedee wanted Gypsy to be in the wheelchair to fraud charities and to get money and donations. It says it right there in the appeal. So Gypsy was well aware that she wasn't being medically abused and that it was quite literally all a fraud. And you can look through messages that Nick has sent to people on Facebook from around that time where it said that her, Gypsy, and Deedee were getting into fights off and on. The whole situation, Gypsy and her getting into it, and Deedee told her to get out of the house. And the only reason that Gypsy wasn't out of the house was because she was taking a long time to pack. Just taking enough time so that way she wouldn't have to actually leave. That's why she didn't try to run away more or ever escape or find different alternatives. That was never the plan. The plan was to get some fool to do what she needed to get to her dad. She wanted to be with her dad. She was enraged. That is the only thing that really makes sense when you think about it. It all points to Rod. Or at least that's how I feel. Just because, Nick mentioned, and I've said this before in other videos, Nick told somebody that he was in prison with that their original plan was to go to Louisiana to live with family. And who's in Louisiana? Rod. I'm sure Gypsy probably intended on Nick getting caught way before then. That's why she posted that Facebook post without telling him. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Gypsy was actually the one that was looking up Jeffrey Dahmer? I'm curious to know what else is in that search history. Just a thought. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this video. And please do not forget to like and share this video as well as hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Every single one of you that have subscribed to my channel, it really helps me. If you guys share these videos and tell other people about my channel and my videos be seen a little bit easier by people. So I do appreciate it when you guys do that. So be sure to do that. I will see you guys next time. Bye.